Ladies and gentlemen, we have just hit what will probably be the final part of the Weiss tutorial. If you have been with us since episode 1, please give yourselves a huge pat on the back, and thank you for sticking with me this long. If you haven't been with us since episode 1, feel free to go to my channel and check out the other episodes, but for right now, we're going to focus on what everybody came here to see. We're going to look at the climax phase and the attack phase. So let's just jump right in. So your main phase is about to end. And I say about to because hopefully you're taking one more look at your characters and making sure they are exactly where you need them to be for the fun to start. Yeah. Good, good, good. So now it's your climax phase, and we need to figure out whether or not you're actually going to be playing a card from your hand. There are a few really easy ways to tell whether or not you need to play a climax card this turn. One, you've got some kind of climax combo on the field. Unfortunately for me, I chose a bad deck for this because there aren't any climax combos in this starter deck. So let's use my favorite set, Disgaea, to kind of show this off. It pretty much boils down to this. I have this character on the field, this climax in my hand. Gonna play it this turn. 2, you have a climax in your hand that would help your characters step over your opponent's characters. One super common thing that will happen during your duels is you will be in a position where your characters have pretty much the exact same power as the character that they're supposed to be facing. A 5500 to a 5500 is the most common one that I have seen personally. What you can do is play a climax from your hands to make yours a 6500 or a 7500, and there you go. Their character dies, your character doesn't, everybody wins, except your opponent. 3. If you are getting pretty close to what you believe will be your next deck refresh, and you are holding climaxes in your hand, for the love of God, get rid of them. Even if their effect will not be as useful as they would be if you waited a few turns and then use your climax cards, chances are they would do you a lot more good in your deck than in your hand. So go ahead and just use them. Make sure they get back into your deck. They are not as useful in your hand as in your deck. Have I nailed this in hard enough yet? Your soldiers are in place. Your weapons are at the ready, Captain. Now let's get ready to rumble. First thing I'll talk about is frontal attacking. Frontal attacking is pretty straightforward. If your numbers are higher than the numbers of the person facing them, then frontal attack. Frontal attack means that that character will be reversed and either saved or sent to the discard pile. Either way, it's not very good times for your opponent, so you want to do it. Frontal attacking should be your main priority. While side attacking is indeed useful and you will have to use side attacking, you should always aim to have stronger characters than your opponent has, and you always want to aim for positions where you can frontal attack rather than side attack. Hold on, wait a second. Kudou, are you telling me that there is no situation in which you would want to frontal attack with a character that isn't stronger than the character it's facing? This is where it gets a little bit complicated, folks. Yes, there are in fact situations in which you will want to frontal attack with a character that will inevitably lose. Unfortunately, knowing this is mainly trial and error and testing and knowing your deck. There is one fairly universal situation in which you would frontal attack with a character that you know will inevitably be reversed, and that is if your opponent is level 3. And you are just trying to finish the game off as quickly as possible, chances are you can finish the game by frontal attacking with characters that are going to get reversed anyway because your soul damage will still go through. If you know the rules though, you'll know that a frontal attack is not the only way to go. Side attacking is also a huge thing too. In a side attack, you can opt not to battle with the character in front of you if you know you're going to lose, but you do get to still deal soul damage, although it is lessened a little bit. You should know this already, but the higher level the character you're facing, the less soul damage you deal. I don't want to go too far into this, but this is also the reason that level 0 isn't taken quite as seriously as the other levels, because you can side attack with characters that aren't as powerful, and you still get the same result in soul damage. So Kudou. What you're telling me is, if I can't deal very much soul damage. I should just not side attack at all. No, 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 and no again. A lot of newer players make this mistake. Listen, even if your character only has one soul level, and you're probably not going to deal any soul damage this turn, at least side attack with all of your characters. You see, character attacks are not just about dealing soul damage. There's slightly more to it, as in the one stock you get from attacking. This means that even if you can deal 0 soul damage, you do get 1 stock out of your attack. So make sure that every one of your characters is attacking in some way, at least a side attack if there's no way they can get away with a frontal attack. We've talked about frontal attacking, we've talked about side attacking. Now we're going to talk about something a little more unique, something that a lot of other players won't teach you about. It's called not attacking at all. No, wait, stop. I can feel all of the hate pouring all over me. But, Kudou, if I don't attack with every character, then I'm behind in stock. How can there possibly be a situation in which not attacking with a character is in fact the right decision? Rare as it may seem, this situation does in fact exist, where stopping your attacks is actually the more beneficial route. I'm about to teach you about starving. Now, if during your attack phase you look over at your opponent's clock and you see 4 or 5 cards sitting there, not attacking is actually a very, very valid option. And this is why. If your opponent can play any level 1s from their hand, then you're just going to push them into a point where they can play more cards. But if they've got 4 or 5 damage on them and you just end your turn, then they can't play any of those level 1s in their hand. They have to go one more turn as a level 0. And that means you have another 3 chances to get more prepared for that level 1, and you're forcing them to play on a turn that they don't want to play on one more turn. But remember, this doesn't work if they have 6 in their clock, because if they have 6 in their clock, then they're just going to clock a card at the beginning of their turn and get to level 1 anyway. If this is the case, then you're just going to want to get the more soul damage. There's no reason for you not to have more soul damage, because you're not going to be able to prevent them from playing any of the higher level cards in their hand. Now, before we hit the wrap up, I want to do one quick segment on the Encore phase. If you attacked and your opponent plays something from their hand that makes your character reverse, then don't Encore them. I'm sure an exception to this rule exists somewhere, but 99.99% of the time, if you attack and something happens to where your character is reversed instead of their character, then do not Encore them. Ever. No matter how important that character was. No matter how much you wish they weren't going to the waiting room. Here's the thing. If on your opponent's turn they find a way to step over your character again, you're either playing 2 cards from your hand to keep them alive if they have Super Encore, or 6 stock to keep them alive. If you just let them die the second time, then it's like that first time you encored them was for absolutely nothing. And there aren't really very many cards in the game of Weiss that are worth paying 6 stock to save, or 2 cards from your hand to save. It's just not a thing. Now, if it's your opponent's attack phase and they've attacked and reversed one of your characters, do you save them? The answer, most of the time, is no. But if you do have a character that can serve another purpose, like maybe they played a Climax to step over your character and your character is normally stronger, then by all means go ahead and save them. That means that you don't have to play another card from your hand to replace that character, and they are worth 1 more stock and a bit more soul damage. Our final recap, folks. During the Climax phase, play a Climax card that either leads to a Climax combo, lets you step over a character you wouldn't be able to normally, or you can just play a Climax card to get it into your waiting room if you know you're going to have to deck refresh soon. Frontal attack if your character is strong enough to step over the character in front of them, or it's late game, your opponent's level 3, and you just need some suicidal soul damage. Side attacking is the reason that level 0 goes a lot faster than the other levels, because you don't lose any soul damage when you side attack, so people do it a lot more often. And even if you cannot get
any soul damage off of your attack, do it because you like stock. If during your turn your attack was not too successful and your character was reversed, resist the urge to save them because you will just have to pay for them twice when your opponent reverses them again on their turn. And even if it's your opponent's turn and they attacked and your character was reversed, do not save them unless they can serve another purpose. One more thank you to all of you lovely folks that have been with me all this time, sat through all of the videos, and gave me all of my love and support. Thank you so much again from the bottom of my heart. You really don't know what it means to me to have people listen to me like this. I look forward to making many, 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 many more videos for you in the future, and I think that's it. Catch you later.